great privilege to introduce to you the new Secretary General coming in January of 2019. We are so excited to have you, Carlos, and I am very excited to work with you. As we just talked about, Johan has just said some very wonderful things about you. I won't go into an elaborate introduction, but please come to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Some of you might have heard or watched the movie The Longest Day. Thursday, February 20th this year was that day for me. It was a Friday. On Monday, I went for my final interview and was told that results might certainly come on Friday, but it might also come earlier as Thursday afternoon, so be ready. On Thursday, as usual, when I'm in Geneva, I joined the executive team, and I think Johan sensed something was happening. And then by noon, he said, let's close the meeting to allow the candidate to have some time to breathe before the result. Thank you, Johan. That was brilliant. So I went home, waiting, checking my phone every 5 minutes. Something might come, a hint, checking Facebook, nothing. All night. Friday morning, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Around 11:30 or so, the phone rang. And I saw my daughter pick the phone. And she spoke English. Then I heard that, hey, this is the time. And I picked the phone, and I heard, hello, this is Peter. Is it okay that I speak to you on your landline because I was calling you on mobile and you were not picking? For a fraction of a second, I asked myself, really? I don't care if you use the landline or the airline or whichever line. Just tell me something. And then he said, I am pleased to invite you to be the next Secretary General of the World Alliance. Madam President, what a privilege to be the first Secretary General to say Madam President. Sincere congratulations. We are grateful to the Canadian movement for giving you to us once again, and welcome back home. To the rest of the officers, the newly elected member of the Executive Committee, congratulations. I receive you as a gift to our movement and our call to empower the young people. I am prepared and looking forward to working with you all so that together we can take our movement to its next frontier of growth and relevance. Leaders and representatives of national movements, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with a great joy, really, even though I'm very stressed, it's with a great joy that I'm here today in front of this assembly to perform one of the most important tasks of a newly designated Secretary General. It's called the acceptance speech. So I would like to thank the outgoing Executive Committee members for unanimously accepting the recommendation of the Search Committee for my appointment. My sincere thanks to also the member of the Search Committee, led by its president, Mr. Peter Posner, for having set up such a rigorous and comprehensive search process. It is a privilege to have been chosen as the Secretary General designated of the World Alliance of YMCA, a role that I gladly and humbly accept. I have many big thank you from my heart to deliver today. First, my thank you go to God for giving me the strength, resilience, and humility that has brought me this far. I do not take it for granted that I am here today. Then to my brother, the brother from another mother, the Pink Panther. You might not know who the Pink Panther is. It's no other than Johan Willem Eltvik. And he's the Pink Panther, and I'm the Black Panther. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Ingun. We will not say it enough for carrying your hand during this 8 years. What you did is not just carrying your hand, you have carried all of us. So we are so thankful. So I'm not yet in the position, but I've not consulted the president also. I made my first decision is to make a gift to Johan and to Ingun on behalf of the World YMCA. So Ingun and Johan, my brother from the white mother, and my sister-in-law here. On behalf of the World Alliance, we want you to take this voucher for a journey either on Mauritius, Hawaii, or Greenland. You will decide. I will take care of that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. It was my first decision. If the president is not happy, I will say I'm not yet in office. Seriously, Ingun and Johan, thank you for your guidance. Johan, it has been a passionate journey. Looking back in retrospect and working with you as a member of your executive team contributed immensely to my preparation for this position. Thank you. To my colleague, the leadership of the Africa Alliance and the staff of the Africa Alliance, the staff of the World Alliance of YMCA, my colleague and friend from the global staff team, to all of you from all over the world, I want to thank you for the encouragement and the expression of joy, the congratulations and the pledge of support you have expressed to me since the moment you were informed about my appointment remain truly and positively overwhelming. I felt and still feel the pride of the movement that fully identify with the choice of its leaders. I feel accepted and encouraged to start this journey together with all of you. Thank you. To the change agents and all the young people in this meeting and all over our movements in the world, To all the CEOs and staff and volunteers of the 12,000 plus YMCA around the world who work tirelessly to build community and improve the living condition of the most underprivileged, thank you. To the various constituencies and networks such as Wiseman International, World Urban Network, White Care International, the Mission Network, etc. Forgive me if I forgive one of you. Thank you. To all the YMCA retirees, you, though retire, you are never tired. And you keep on working to support our work. We owe you big time. Thank you. To my friend and colleague who contended the same position with me, I want to thank you. Thank you sincerely for the pledge of your continuous support. Friends, I would not have made it this far without the unwavering and unconditional support of my family. My wife, Josephine, here, and my kids, and my extended family. Allow me to say this. This is more than 10 years that we are kind of living apart. She's living in Geneva with the kids, are living in Nairobi and between planes. But it was a decision we took together. And she said, you go, this is your call, this is the mission, I'm here, I'll support you. And there was a time where our kids were going to college and all our college. And she took that responsibility alone and raised those kids. Today, I don't even know how many bachelor degree, master degree, very fast we're going to have a PhD in the family. All this is because of her. Josephine, I want to thank you seriously. Madam President, thank you for that. Madam President, member of the Executive Committee, participant to this 19th World Council. In keeping with our tradition, this should be an acceptance speech. A time for me to commit to you by accepting in front of this honorable assembly my nomination. But I would like to take this further. So please bear with me as I deviate from the tradition. I'm known from that. I deviate, don't keep too much to tradition. I do not want to make a speech, rather I come with a proposal to you. I want to covenant with you. I want to fulfill the intent of John 17:21, that all may be one, called for one purpose and one mission. So you may ask, why do we need a covenant? Since my nomination, I've been listening to this movement. I've been listening to you. And I think these are three reasons that we need a covenant. First one is that we are in an inflection point as a movement. And that is a sense of urgency. And the shifts in the world system require a different way of working. I'll try to develop that. Our movement is at an inflection point. You know, in mathematics, inflection point is the point of the curve where either it go up or it come down. We are at that level. One hand, so many decades of success lie behind us, especially the last 8 years under the leadership of Johan. There are so many achievements that we are all individually and collectively we are proud of. But on the other hand, however, our movement is facing an ever-growing number of existential threats. A rising number of movements are closing or facing uncertain future. Financial circumstances are difficult. We are still struggling with a weak expression of our global relevance and impact. Friends, we must take a decisive move to recover or become irrelevant. Secondly, the sense of urgency. As the YMCA, our core constituency is composed of the now called the digital natives. Currently, the digital native consists of 1.8 billion millennials and more than 4 billion Generation Z and the upcoming Generation Alpha. It's huge. This generation will be leading and shaping the world soon. Yet, they are being left out. The risk of them being left out is still very high. For instance, research shows that 45% of the current jobs are at risk from technological advancement, such as artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicle, robotic, 3D printing, nanotechnology, etc. The distribution of jobs will move increasingly toward two extremes. One level, low-skill, repetitive, and manual job that will pay very little, job that will, and at the other level, job that will require complex problem-solving competency that computer cannot yet do. Where does this leave our youth, who constitute the higher percentage of the job market? Further, the world that is unfolding in constantly producing wars and disfranchised people, leaving money by the roadside. In his recent book, Homo Deus, the professor Yuval Harari, for example, argued that due to the advance in technology and artificial intelligence, by 2050, there will emerge a new class of people, and he called that the useless class. The same way we have a middle class, lower class, we might be having the useless class. These are people devoid of any political, economical, and even artistic values. People who will contribute nothing to the prosperity and the glory of the society. They will not merely be employed, they may be unemployable. Notice that before 2050, precisely in 2044, the YMCA shall be celebrating 2 centuries of existence. Friend, what shall we be celebrating? I believe it's not in God's plan that our youth should fall into this useless class. The urgency for us to act is now. Thirdly, the shifting global reality, the ongoing disruption in our societies, the magnitude and speed of societal change reinforce the fact that no single organization can provide solution to complex issues on its own. Collaboration and multilateral exchanges between government, civil society organizations, businesses, academia, etc., are important to deal with critical youth issues such as unemployment, civic disfranchisement, radicalization, inequality, etc. This is very necessary. I will dare to say this is existential. So for those 3 reasons, I propose this covenant to enable us to unleash and apply the immense power that lies within our movement. And we have that power. Friends, we have the potential to become the global go-to place for youth empowerment, a platform that enables the young people to develop self-sustaining livelihood and to contribute to the well-being of others and to thrive. We have that potential. But as we make this covenant, I'm reminded that we are all interconnected. Our individual and collective journeys and stories connect and unite us in mission and in purpose. Therefore, I will try this. I will start by telling you my story. Then our collective story, the way I perceive it, and I end with the story of our future. So the story of me, who am I? I'm Carlos Sanvee, born in post-colonial Togo, a small, tiny francophone country in West Africa, Togo. Togo was colonized first by the German, then for a short period by the British, and then by the French, till independence in 1960. My grandfather spoke German. My father spoke English, and I speak French. And also speak English. My friends say, you speak Franglish. It's okay. I also speak my mother tongue. We call it Mina. It's a sub-language of Ewe. I was raised like many young people in these days. I was born in a polygamous family, my mother being the second wife to my father. My parents divorced when I was very young. And my mother, with the support of my grandmother, took full responsibility of bringing up my sibling and I. They instilled in me the value that I still live by today, Ubuntu, especially the belief and practice of how we are connected to each other, and therefore we depend on each other. Being single-parented moved me to a place where, as a firstborn and as a male of my mother, I took on responsibility at a very young age. For the sake of this covenant, I will share more about the formation of my identity, my leadership persona, and your impact on me. I think my identity is formed by two different political systems. The first one is the oppressive political system. I grew up like majority of people who experience poverty, oppression, brutal occupation, immigration, etc. On a nearly daily basis, I have first-hand experience and understanding of what it takes to live on less than $1 a day, living one day at a time. Youth injustice is not just a book knowledge for me. I have experienced several times. I have been jailed and tortured for my opinion and for political issues. I've experienced what being a refugee or a migrant feel like. I have it in my flesh. The second system that forms my identity is this system that refuses to say yes to a status quo. A system that refuses to bow and accept oppression. This taught me to stand up for the rights and the dignity of the oppressed and to provide safe home for the battered woman and man whenever it happens, for justice for young people in prison, in exile, for the migrant, etc. I had the privilege of coming across and joining the YMCA, then a youth group in my church when I was only 12. Joining the YMCA gave me the opportunity to grow in many ways and to reveal and exercise and develop my personality and potential. I became a staff member of the Togo YMCA in 1987 and held different positions from training secretary to deputy national general secretary for the Togo YMCA. In 1998, an executive position for open at the World Alliance of YMCA. And this is a position often for the CEO or area organization. But I like to take risks and apply. And I got the job. And I was told I was the first African to hold the position of finance secretary. Many would have not bet $1 on me succeeding. But I held that position for 8 years. I had the choice to remain in Geneva after the 8 years in the position, but I felt deep inside me that I should return to Africa. In fact, I was convinced that my going to Geneva have been a preparation for me to better serve my continent. I became General Secretary of the African Alliance of YMCA in 2007. And in 2010, Johan invited me to rejoin his executive team, and the rest, as they say, is history. My leadership persona is shaped by two distinct philosophies or value sets. I'm socialized, as I said before, and culturally grounded in the African values. I value community, social justice. I believe and embrace the spirit of Ubuntu, and that's very early in life. I am because you are. Joining the global movement exposed me to another philosophy that, in my opinion, is the dominant value set in our movement. I call it, on my own word, cogito ergo sum, in reference to the French philosopher Descartes. In French, he says, je pense donc je suis. I think, therefore I am. So I find myself always having to balance these two value sets. And one way, I am because you are, and another way, I think, therefore I am. And this comes with a lot of pain and contradiction. For example, in decision making, on one side, the good decision is the one you take time and to assess the societal impact. But in another one, the good decision is the one you make fast. So you are judged by the speed of your decision. None of all is good or bad, it depends on the circumstance. So how do you balance between these two? But this has shaped me to understand and develop a strong mindset that embrace and encourage diversity and divergent view. I'm here today as a Secretary General designated because many of you created opportunity and spaces where I was nurtured, shaped, and given opportunity to consolidate my leadership experiences. I am a product of compassion and empathy from many of you. You enable me to bounce back when I was low and unsure on how to continue the journey. I'm the product of good leadership in the movement. I have worked with the best who have shaped my understanding and practice of leadership and continue to provide big and strong shoulder that I ride on. I am because you are. I am here because the YMCA provides the space where anyone, everyone, embodying the value of the organization can progress through the rank of leadership like I did, starting off as a program staff of a small, tiny YMCA in Togo to becoming today the next Secretary General of the World Alliance. This organization gives us the space to do that. Friend, mine has been a journey lined with hard work, determination, personal sacrifice, and that will keep going. I'm a true child of this movement, and this will bring me to the second story, our story. The YMCA is a formidable movement. We have a sustained presence over 12,000 locations worldwide. This presence is reinforced by a positive track record, international brand recognition, and the emotional attachment of the public to the YMCA brand. The renowned World Value Index report 2018 put us at the 14 out of 200 of brands that are recognized in the USA. And this is reinforced by our strategic focus on youth empowerment globally. This gives us the edge to have a bigger impact. We are so diverse across age, continent, operation, and reach. And yes, we enjoy that. We are driven by child safety, by the desire to provide shelter to the homeless youth and adults, by the aging population, wider youth issues such as health, unemployment, social justice, gender justice, climate change, etc. We are in pain. We are so much in pain when a child is abused, and when we realize that despite our best effort, more than 20,000 children die every day. 20,000 children die every day from hunger, poverty, illness, war, and other preventable diseases. We need to acknowledge, though, that those homeless children, the abused young person, these are merely symptoms of a deeper issues that are driven by political systems and ideologies. Therefore, we should all commit to address the root cause of the social, political, and economical injustice that affect our youth and communities today. Friends, our collective story is that our movement is being as an inflection point. If we don't harness our potential now, we will slowly but surely sink into marginalization, irrelevance, or even decay. But we have survived over a century, and I'm sure it will not happen because we are the YMCA. This leads me to the third story, the story of our common future and the world of empowered youth. The time we live in are changing rapidly. We are witnessing the emergence of the new reality commonly referred to as the Fourth Industrial Revolution. You will recall that the YMCA was born during the First Industrial Revolution, and we are in the fourth now. This is a new reality that merges the digital, physical, and biological system. This revolution is quickly shaping the core constituents of the YMCA, the generation of the digital native. You know, the digital native are not only known for their conviction and quest for social justice, social inclusion, diversity or equity, but also for having an overbearing sense of urgency and entitlement, wanting everything now and quick. Ironically, though, research also showed that despite their being technological savvy and the strong online connection, this generation is increasingly disconnected from themselves and from their surrounding. Moreover, I am sure, and you will agree with me, that technology cannot solve or resolve the deep-seated prejudice, hatred, violence, nor technology can address the never-ending spiral of materialism, greed, and domination. While Harari's vision of the useless class is scary and even depressing, I do also see that this constitutes an immense opportunity for the YMCA. This is our call of duty, for us to move out of the comfort zone and deliberately work to being more relevant. Our collective and future story now has to be how, as a global movement, we move ahead by tapping into our great potential through anticipation, innovation, and collaboration. You see, soon the YMCA will be celebrating its bicentenary anniversary in 2044, just 6 years shy of Yuval's timeline where he predicts the emergence of the class of the useless. We have a real opportunity to help to divert this calamity befalling our young people. So how should we do that? During my final interview for this job, a question was asked that made me realize more than ever before that the YMCA has poised itself to move beyond rhetoric. The question was, what does a world of empowered youth look like? How does the world of empowered youth look like? I have 10 minutes to answer. Those guys were not nice. I believe that the world of empowered youth is anchored on 3 universal values that I want to submit to you. I want to submit this to you as a global movement that in addition to our national movement value, we all connect to those universal values. And these are dignity, equity, and compassion. Dignity, where individuals are valued and respected regardless of their background, culture, social status, ideology, faith, and nationality, and empowered to live a self-sustaining and productive life. Equity, where every person, regardless of their origin, has equal opportunity to improve their life and break through the structural barriers that lock community, culture, and nation into a story of oppression, marginalization, and inequality. And compassion is where we are all open to be sensitive and connected and move to action by the suffering and the plea, not just by those around us, but for overall people who are disfranchised and disillusioned. Saint-Exupéry, the author of The Petit Prince, once said in his book Citadelle, I quote in French, "Créer le navire, ce n'est point tisser l'étoile, forger les clous, couper les arbres, c'est donner le goût de l'infini et l'envie de prendre la mer." Translating to English, if you want to build a ship, don't drum on people to collect wood. Don't assign them tasks or work either. Rather, teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. Friend, our covenant is a journey. We have a ship to build. We will not drum you to collect wood, nor assign you tasks or work. Rather, we will learn and teach each other to long for the immensity of the sea, the world of empowered youth. Doing this requires that we acknowledge that many of our current model of YMCA are succumbing to natural wear and tear, but also that, remember, we are at the inflection point. There is a sense of urgency, and we need to shift in the way we work with each other. Therefore, let us covenant together to collaborate more radically, to strengthen our YMCA so that disfranchised and disillusioned individuals recover their dignity and get equipped with tools and techniques that help them to live a self-sustained life and productive life, contributing toward a just and equitable world. Let us build a tight web between the 12,000 YMCA around the world to leverage ideas, ability, and to scale impact collectively. Let us become the go-to place where diverse stakeholders, government, private sector, academia, and civil society join forces behind the vision of empowering young people. And let us activate our ability to influence global players and positively shape decisions and affecting the life of our young people. And we can do that. My friend, I desire to journey with you as far as possible with this covenant. This will further require that we develop our ability to listen to each other. Listen in a different way, more than we have ever done before. Listen to ourselves, listen to the youth, and listen to God's creation. I'm offering to learn how to silence my own voice, silence my fears, in order to listen to the genuine pulse of this movement so that together we can reclaim our ability and ultimate calling to be our brothers and sisters keepers throughout this journey. I look back with pride and honor at the past 30 years and plus that I have served this YMCA, this movement, this formidable movement. I look ahead and I see the potential of the YMCA to become the go-to place for youth empowerment. And this fills me with joy, with pride and excitement. I commit to this vision. I commit to this movement. I commit to you, and I commit to God. So God help me. I thank you.